How did we go from this, which is arguably one of the most incredible coins that I own? It was a bucket list coin when I bought it, and I still love it to this day. Going from this to this. A 1.4 ounce gold coin down to 0.25 of a gram. Fractional stuff. It's just not everyone's cup of tea, and for me, I have to say, it is a race to the bottom, and not in a good way. Whether it be fractional gold in the form of gold backs, which, look, they're very pretty and I like them, but they're not really practical investments, to even investing in copper. I mean, really? Copper? No. How did we get here? How did it all get so bad so quick? Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another precious metal ramble coming from the backyard with the idyllic sounds of spring and the sun shining down on a big pile of shiny things. And today we're going to have a down-to-earth precious metal ramble about the N-shittification of silver and gold. Now, what do I mean by N-shittification? It's a really interesting phrase that I heard actually on the radio, and it talks about how everything it seems in this world is just getting worse and getting less good for people. I mean, we can say that about the entire world right now. I could do multiple, in fact, I will probably do multiple different videos on this subject about the world of banking, personal freedoms, privacy. Everything is getting worse. And how I've observed it in the world of precious metals is that we seem to be on a race to the bottom of fractional silver. So this is going to be a little bit of a video talking about fractional silver and why I'm not really the biggest fan of fractional silver, but also fractional gold, and why I'm not really a fan of things like this. Gold notes, gold backs, I mean, yeah, they have some utility and resale value, but at the end of the day, that resale value is the main problem. It's not easy. It's not something that you can rely on. It's not an investment in the traditional sense of silver. And maybe I'm just old-fashioned. Maybe I just like the idea of having a big lump of silver bought for as cheap as possible, and then you sell it for as fair and as much as possible price as you can at the other end. And with kilo bars of silver, with ounces of silver, with gold Britannias, whether they be half ounce, full ounce, sovereigns, it's just easier. Now, look, there are arguments to be had that fractionality is important in this world, and I'm not really going to be sitting here completely bashing silver. I would argue that if you've got a kilo coin here, or if you have, gosh, what's the mass? 32.15 times 4, so 128 and some change of these quarters. Yeah, it's probably better to buy these, but you're not going to be able to buy those two products at the same price. And so when you're buying fractional stuff, you need to be aware that the premium that you're buying is even greater. And therein lies the problem, premiums. Because premiums on fractional stuff is high. Now, you hear a lot of these phrases about companies saying, well, you know, the manufacturing costs per coin are higher. And I would argue, yes, there is definitely an element of that. However, let's also look at the nuts and bolts of it. Price-wise, an ounce of silver right now, about £75. Fractional stuff like this, direct from retailers, it's about £120 an ounce. Is that really a fair markup for the additional manufacturing costs of quarter ounce Britannias? No, in my opinion. And it's kind of not the mint's fault. It's not raw mint's fault for making quarter ounce silver Britannias, not their fault for making 10th ounce silver Britannias. I can see them making 20th ounce silver Britannias coming very soon, or 1 gram versions. Is it the fault of the gold back company for making gold backs to fill a niche by which people want to have fractional bits of gold in their pocket that they can use? No, it's not their fault at all. It's your fault. If you buy these, if you fuel the demand and the market for this stuff, then there will be companies that pop up that will want to sell it. And they're not really responsible for the N-shittification of silver. They're just reacting to the market by which people are buying this stuff. Let's take this 25 milligram wafer of gold, for example. There's 25 milligrams of gold in here. That is 2.5% of a gram. So 0.025 grams of gold. When you do the maths, that works out at about £2.60-ish worth of gold. These sell from dealers for about £9, £10 each, plus postage if you're unlucky. And then when you sell this maybe to a bullion dealer, they probably won't even buy it off you, because unless they actually retail them, they don't care. They don't want it. It's just a garbage product. It's a garbage product. Now, this is not to criticize Ulrum, because they are producing a product that is in demand because people have got it in their heads somehow that they're going to have fractional stuff for, I don't know, an apocalypse. Do you really think that if the big bombs had dropped in Iran this week, that we'd be all out there using our silver to go round and pay for goods and services and groceries? No. In fact, one of my most popular videos I've ever done on this channel is talking about how gold and silver will not save you if there's a major economic crisis. And whether that's fueled by a massive war breaking out, or whether it's fueled by the collapse of a currency, like in Venezuela when the bolivar collapsed, people were not really able to go down to the shops with their silver and gold. They had to exchange it for cash. And that's what the best thing about silver and gold is. You can exchange it for cash. And you've got to remember that an ounce of silver is still an ounce of silver. An ounce of silver is like £60 spot price maybe. It's not like mega bucks. It's like carrying around a £50 note or $100 bill. You don't need to have fractional stuff. You can go and exchange it for cash, and then the cash can be exchanged for fractional stuff. That's the whole point of the world. We're not in a world where people care about this stuff anymore, unfortunately. You care about it because you're watching this video. It's a similar thing with copper, and it's one of these things that, again, I'm not going to criticize places like the Germanium Mint and Geiger and all of these other companies that make these types of products. Where the criticism should lie is in twofold places. First, with people who think that they're going to invest in copper and make lots of money on copper because they perhaps don't realize that they're spending, 3 times the actual price of copper, sometimes more, 5, 6, 10 times, in fact, on certain products. And then if they're going to sell it, dealers won't take it. So how are they going to sell it? They're going to bung it on eBay, you get maybe half your money back if you're lucky. If you're going to invest in copper, it's not practical to invest in copper, but do what I did. Just buy a big old scrap bar on eBay 10 years ago. This scrap bar here cost me £25. It's like 3.5 kilos. I mean, just the metal value alone in this is worth probably, 60 quid. So I've made money, but I've made 40 quid in 10 years. Great, good for me, but it's not the future. It really isn't the future. Copper coins are not the future, but I know what will happen at some point. We'll get copper backs, won't we? We've got silver backs. They exist. They're just a little bit of a premium spinner, aren't they, really? But yeah. Now we've got quarter gold backs coming in, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing lots of different content creators talking about how incredible they are and how much of a game changer they are. Really, I'm seeing lots of products out there that are, traditional products are good. Like if you want to go and have fractional stuff, there are plenty of different bars out there. Now, of course, the smaller you go, yes, there is a premium for fractionality. There's a premium for different assay cards and things like that. But generally speaking, you don't end up paying 4, 5, 6 times the price of the metal. With these, you're paying 3 times metal price if you're lucky. Gold backs, you're paying 2.5 times metal price if you're lucky. Silver, fractional, 10th ounce Britannias, you're paying sometimes even like 10 times I've seen people pay. It's just ridiculous. So the only people really to blame for that are the consumers who buy this stuff, who believe that it is going to be good for them. Now, where does that belief come from? That's the big problem, and that's part of the enshittification of the world, I think, because the enshittification of the world is happening, it's real, and people, they take what they hear on board, and unfortunately there are people with vested interests to talk about this stuff and sell this stuff, and that's a real problem. And again, without calling out individuals, and I'm not going to make any friends with those people who do this anyway, but there are people who will be selling fractional stuff all the time, and they'll just hype it up. I have no problem with a business selling fractional silver or gold. Do I agree with it? No. Will I buy it as a product? No. So is it going to affect me? No, I don't really care. And I'm not really pretending to be a little spider running around our coins. Not going to be pretending to be the gatekeeper of the community and telling you that you shouldn't buy what you want to buy, but do it with your open eyes, because at the end of the day, you are basically fueling the profits of the companies that are making and selling this stuff. And if you then, a phrase unfortunately that you again in the camera won't like is, you can't fix stupid. I can sit here and I can tell you all the negatives about this stuff and how I don't view them to be really very good investments at all. And to put it in perspective, look, I've got some silver 1/4 ounce Britannias here. If I told you I bought these for spot price about, I don't know, about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I bought 2 batches. There was one for spot price and one for another. There was a person who just inquired and said, I'm looking to sell these. I've been offered, 90% spot price by a dealer. And I said, well, I can offer spot price because I'm just going to take them. He said, yes, that is what it is. He lost money on it. He said he shouldn't have bought them. He didn't want them anymore. I bought them for spot price. So from my perspective, there will always be a place for this stuff. Oh, look, we had a sovereign mixed in with that. But ultimately, they're really not very good investments unless you're buying them for spot price. And as I said in the earlier example, if you have the choice between a kilo of silver and 128 quarter ounce silvers, buy the 128 quarter ounce silvers if they're the same price. But they're not going to be the same price because somebody will want to buy them. Now, again, this is not a video criticizing individual retailers, but there are a lot of people out there who will hype things up. They'll hype things up to sell things to you. There are a lot of really good retailers that don't do that and just present a product, and if people want to buy it, people want to buy it. But be very wary of people and sellers that will talk about how you have to have fractional silver for the apocalypse, or whatever it might be, to barter with. That's not going to happen. It really isn't going to happen, and you're just going to lose money. But you can't fix stupid, unfortunately. And the only way that if you are in this unfortunately stupid camp, is by the hard lessons, the hard knock life lessons, unfortunately. And I see it all the time. I see people who buy, they basically then end up taking a loss on these things. They learn. So if you have done this, learn and move on. Everyone starts somewhere, and I remember the very first couple of bits of silver that I bought. Were they the best things to buy? No. Did I buy things with high premiums on? Yes, because I kind of like them. Over a long period of time, I was lucky, silver price has gone up. I've cashed out on some of the premiums because I have the platform to do it. But do you? If you have these quarter ounce silvers that you've paid £30 per coin for, can you go and retail them for £30 a coin right now? No. If you go to a dealer, you probably get £15 a coin if you're lucky. So can you sell them to Joe Blogs on the internet yourself? No, I can. I'm lucky. Other people are lucky. They've got platforms by which to do this. But yeah, it's just a general move down to the bottom that I don't really agree with from a fundamental investment perspective. Now look, if you want to go and buy gold backs because you like them and you collect them, sure. I have no problem with that whatsoever. If you're buying it because you're collecting something, sure. But if you're stacking something, if you're buying things specifically to make money on them, and you're buying it because somebody's told you that you're going to make money on them, warning, red flag number 1, don't do it. If somebody says to you copper's the next big thing, go and buy a bunch of copper. Just have a look about copper because, yeah, it's good. Copper's gone up in price over the last 10 years. It's done very well. But so are you going to be able to buy copper at spot price? Are you going to be able to sell copper at spot price? No, buy a copper ETF if you want to invest in copper. Don't buy physical stuff. You have to buy literally a metric ton of copper to make it even fathomably worth your time. But even then, how are you going to store a kilo of copper? How are you going to keep it? How are you going to send it off in the post? All these things. This 3.5 kilo copper thing here, if I just even want to post this thing now, it's going to cost me a tenner. And that's just from an untracked service. Yeah, no, I think maybe not. I like it. It's a big doorstop. I use it as a doorstop. It's just what it is, unfortunately. It's not the big next thing, copper, I'm afraid. So where can you go as a silver stacker to make sure you're not getting enshittified by the world of silver and gold and to a certain degree copper? Well, there are lots of really good social media platforms that you can have a look on and learn about things. Watch videos from a variety of different sources. If you're hearing somebody just exclusively saying that gold backs are the best thing in the world, go and buy them from me, XYZ, then have a look at other people. Have a look, research gold backs. Are they, what are you going to buy them for? How are you going to sell them? Where are you going to sell them? Are you going to spend them? If you're going to spend them and there are retailers that you can spend them on, great, do that. It's better in America, and I would argue that for us in the UK, gold backs are a little bit kind of a gimmicky thing that are just, they're a collectible, they're not a practicality. In America, fine, gold backs are easy. But fractional stuff in the UK, yeah, no, not so good. If you want to buy fractional stuff, buy it sensibly. Buy 50% silver that you can buy below spot price. Buy, if you really want fractional stuff, buy silver casting grain, but be careful on that stuff because realistically selling this stuff is really hard to do at a decent price. But you can buy it cheap. If you want to actually invest in silver and gold properly, then I guess the pure traditionalist in me is just going to tell you to stick to the things that are time tested. Sovereigns, Britannias, kilo bars of silver, kilo coins of silver if you want to go big. Oh, look, there is definitely an argument to be had that with the price of silver and gold, where it is expensive to buy big stuff. In fact, we've got the biggest coin I own down here. Well, it's not the biggest coin I own, I do have some 2-ounce gold, but the biggest traditional gold coin, this is like 1.3 ounces of gold. It's worth nearly 4,500, I think now. I love it, it's great. Is it practical? No. Is this something I would buy right now if I was in my position? No. When I bought it, it was like £2,500. Even then it was a little bit like, oh, am I ever going to actually be able to sell this and send it in the post? Probably not, but I love it so much, it's a beautiful coin. So buy sensible stuff, buy low premium stuff. I've got here, in fact I've hidden it underneath the table, 1/4 ounce and 1/2 ounce Britannias. They carry huge premiums over their relative sizes in other categories. Sovereigns, for example, just under 1/4 ounce of gold, much less premium. You're looking at least 10% premium on a 1/4 ounce Brit from a dealer, maybe 6% premium on a 1/2 ounce. Sovereigns you can get for 2% over. So buy sovereigns. They're literally almost identical to halves and quarters. But people, I don't know, people just get this in their mind that they have to have this stuff, and it's a bit weird, and it's shitification. It's, I guess, people just not fully thinking things through, and I don't get it. You know, I've always had a sort of level head in my finances and in my investing perspective, in my portfolios for gold and silver, that's for everything, quite frankly. And I just don't understand why people are, I get why people want to buy them because they're pretty and they're nice, I like them, yeah, great, okay, but why would you buy so much of them and invest only in that stuff? Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me at all. Have a foundation and then stack for enjoyment if you want to have extra cool pieces along the side of it. There's nothing wrong with stacking premium stuff, but within means. And if you are going to stack premium stuff, have a really clear understanding of how you're going to get the value out of something. Because premium things have premium for a reason. You know, let's take this as another example. £2.60's worth of gold in here. You buy it for £9, £10 from a bullion dealer. It sells for that because there are people out there who are going to pay that much money for it. How are you going to find the person to sell it to for £10, £11, £12 in the future? Think about that. I've been saying that on my channel for nigh on a decade now. Exit strategies. That is where we'll leave this video today. Exit strategies. You have to think about your exit strategies for your gold and silver. And if your exit strategy doesn't include getting the premium out of the premium products, then don't buy them. Thanks all for watching. If you've enjoyed our little precious metal ramble in the idyllic sounds of nature and spring in our backyard, your Cool Kid Club comment for today is to comment on which is your favourite thing on the table. I know a lot of people will gravitate towards the big kilo Queensbeast completer, but there is just something super special about this beautiful 100 Soles gold, and you can see why they call it a Soles in the sun gleaming away. Love it. Beautiful. See you guys on the next video. Stay safe, stack smart, enjoy your gold and silver, and we'll see you on the next one. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.